evening, Coach. Just wondering if you have a thought on what you saw from your group here, not only tonight in Game 6, but I know it's fresh, but anything you might want to say either about this series or this season as well for your team?
Well, it was a hard-fought series. Obviously, tonight was another battle. Unfortunately, we didn't find a way to win it, which, playoffs is you got to be able to find ways to win games. But I thought, we battled hard throughout the series. We gave ourselves, some chances to win some games, and 4 overtime games are there. But, the next step is finding ways to win these games and be able to continue to advance. As far as the season, I thought the battle level, the toughness, the style of play, the identity that we had that allowed us to get into the playoffs and earn our way into the playoffs is something that, was missing a year ago. So we established more of an identity that is more about winning and getting in, but there's another level we got to get to.
Chris Harris.
John, just what did you tell the guys in the locker room, and then maybe more specifically, Josi's obviously been a warrior for so long, and I'm sure he was down. What did you maybe say to him to kind of comfort him?
Yeah, Juice was excellent. We all know what had happened, how he played really well down the stretch the second half of the year, and he was a big difference in this series. Time and time again, he comes up with big saves, just the mental, emotional, physical toughness that he has and the growth that he's come as a goaltender to be able to play in these situations and play as much as he has is a real credit to him as a player and his preparation and his growth. As far as the team, there's not much to say, after a tough loss. You're really disappointed, and we left it all out there. But unfortunately, we didn't find ways to win the last couple games to push the series to where we needed it to get to.
Robbie Stanley.
Yeah, John, just from your vantage point, what happened in the third period there with your guys, and what did you think of the hit on Roman in the third period as well? Obviously, a really tough loss for your group.
Yeah, it's a tough one tonight. They had a pretty good surge. Juice held strong there. I think he was really the difference. I know we had the icing, and then it wound up with the face-off play that they ran, and we had a misread on that play. But they had lots of opportunities after that, and that's something where we got to do a better job of handling that type of pressure versus a push. And I think it's something that we'll use that component in the offseason and going into next year, just about the details, the habits that you need to have when you're under that type of pressure. So we could have done a better job, and we didn't find a way to get it done in the third.
Joe Rexrode.
Johnny just mentioned the next level that you got to get to. What is that going to take?
I think we learned a lot about our team. Particularly the reestablishing an identity that is conducive to winning. The work ethic, the commitment, the structure you need to play with, how hard it is to win. Regardless of what your talent is getting. To play at the level it takes and the work level it takes to be able to give yourself a chance to win. And we did that in the regular season. And I think we did that lots of times through the playoffs. But obviously we're sitting here, closing out our season and losing in Game 6. So, that then comes into, there's got to be a lot of, our exit meetings. We've got to get, guys have to improve in the off season, whether it's, their individual skills, some of their physical abilities. Those are things that we have to take a step here as a group. We fought hard. We did some things. We established an identity, which you could clearly see, probably as someone that follows the team. I think the fans, it's something to give the fans, that's something to be proud of. But there's another level we have to get to individually and as a team.
John Glennon.
John, hoping I can toss two at you real quick. I guess you touched on the third period goal that tied it. I guess is that the forward's job to pick up Hamilton as he comes in there, and then the other one is the third period in general. Certainly they turned it up a notch. Was there anything that you guys could have done better to sort of fend out that surge? Do you think?
Yeah, on the face-off goal, they brought the inside wing high. That's Ellis's responsibility. And then Trenny's got the slot. He's responsible for Hamilton coming down, but he kind of went out to the forward and it was just a misread, and unfortunately, it wound up in the back of the net. But those are the some of the detail things and the awareness things, particularly if you get caught out on an icing and they throw out different players, so you're in a different matchup because of the icing. That's where that attention to detail and focus is really important, particularly in these types of games. And I think as far as their surge, it's they were going to push. They're coming from behind, and I think poise under pressure and understanding how you need to deal with that with your puck play, or not panicking in those situations of just you got to dig in and you've got to compete. You got to stay strong in certain areas, particularly along the wall, around the net front, and that's something that we need to do a better job of.
Jared Stillman.
Yeah, John. Ryan Ellis talked about how he's optimistic about this group going forward, and Ryan Johansson said he feels like the group is close. Do you share a similar sentiment after the turnaround this year and the way he played against a really good Carolina team, or do you think there's still a lot of work to be done for this organization going forward?
Well, I would say this. I say the last 2.5 months of the season, since March 11th when we went on that road trip, and then the push we had down the stretch, and I think the competitiveness we had collectively as a team through that series to be able to get ourselves in, was really it gave us an opportunity. But now we're here and we're having an end of the season press conference. So. There is work to be done. There's work to be done in the off season, and we've got to elevate, and we've got to elevate individually, elevate as a team and organization to be able to get ourselves past this point.
John Triestis.
Yeah, John, kind of along those lines, do you view this season as a success because you established that identity, or not so much because it does end here?
I mean, we did some good things, but our objective was to come in and win, and we really changed some things to the players' credit the second half of the season, where there was much more of an identity. When I'm sure all you guys watched the team play the second half of the year down the stretch, and even in this series, where you could say there's an identity to this team. There's some substance to how they play and what they're doing, and we know what we can expect. Basically night in and night out. Sometimes you have an off night, but our ability to respond and get back to it is important. And that's a step. But the next thing is, you got to win. You got to win. We want to be able to win these series, and we want to be able to continue to move on. So I think there's some things we can certainly take from it. But as I continue to say, I think we have to get to another level to be able to get through this series and continue to move on and be a team that can compete for the cup.
We'll take 3 more for John tonight. Tracy Myers.
Hi, John. Thanks for doing this. I just wanted to ask you how Roman was doing and just everything he's meant to you guys this season. Thank you.
I don't have an update on Roman at this point. Roman's he's the team captain. He's a tremendous player for us. What he does on the ice, what he does off the ice. He was a good leader through adversity this year, and I think, as we all know, he's a special guy. I think as a person, as a leader of the team, as a spokesman for the organization, his dedication level on the ice, off the ice is second to none. And Roman's there's a reason why he's the captain, and proud of his effort this year and his leadership. And I think he's really grown. And I think there's lots of good things coming, and he's really coming into his own as a leader, understanding how to lead and when to lead and what that means. And lots of good things coming from him, and proud of him.
All right, John says we can take the remaining questions, those who have their hands up currently right now. Alex Doherty.
Yeah, John. So you talked a lot about needing more from your main group in this series. So with the series now over, how much of this loss do you put on the main group not really doing enough, or do you put it more on the young guys getting experience? Sort of where do you fall on that?
No, I think it's all of us collectively. I think there was a lot of good performances in the series and 4 overtime games. I thought we got better and better, and we go down 0-2, and I think a lot of guys, whoever was in the lineup, contributed to it, and unfortunately, we didn't get it done together as a group, whether it's coaches, players, whoever it is, and that's something that we have to find a way to be better, and we will.
Justin Bradford.
Hi, John. So throughout the season and even in the playoffs, plenty of rookies got plenty of experience. How valuable is it for them, especially guys like Ellie Tolvanen, who maybe didn't produce as much as people may have wanted him to, or guys like Tanner Jeannot, Alex Carey, who've got plenty of ice time? How valuable is this experience for them in the playoffs for them to continue to build, whether it's in win or loss?
Well, it's really valuable. That we've seen a lot of guys come in the lineup. Some guys that we didn't, what they can do in the American Hockey League, and I think they get to this level and they're playing some high stakes hockey, and I think that's a big part of development. And it's a real key in evaluating younger players. Is that down the stretch we had to play winning hockey to get in, and the preparation, the commitment that you need to play with was really important. And we had a lot of young guys that had gained that experience and understand it. And I think, you get into the playoffs and get in a series. Those guys had good opportunities. I think they played big roles, and you can't replace that for them. And I think that's going to make them better and learn, from these experiences to be able to be better players moving forward. But I think the biggest thing you can take out of that is, when you have young players or young prospects or guys in your lineup and they're playing high-stakes hockey, winning hockey, playoff hockey, a push to get in the playoffs, it's invaluable. Sometimes when you're knocked out and you can have guys, you're not in the playoffs or you're not playing those meaningful games, I don't think the evaluation of the players is as strong as we have with our guys going through this process. So I think that's a real good step for them, and it's a real important part of our evaluation here at the end of the season of these guys.
All right, we'll close things out tonight. Go back to Jared.
John, you talked about guys getting experience in this series. Dante Fabbro did not dress or play at all in this series. You talked about guys getting better in the offseason. Are you still high on Dante's future and where he fits in with this organization?
Yes, for sure. Dante's he is a real important part of the organization moving forward, and I think we shouldn't forget he's a young guy. He came out of college and played, and I think he did some good things. He did good things last year when we were here together with him. I thought there were parts of the season this year he was doing really well. You come down the stretch and he gets hurt, and then it comes in, into the playoff series. And Dante's a big guy. I think this is experience in talking with him, understanding what the situation is, and we're expecting a really big summer out of him. Sometimes a little bit of adversity when you go through as a young player, it's important to learn, and sometimes it's important to learn how hard the NHL is, and there's always players coming, and there's always situations that you've got to be able to play at a high level consistently. And Dante is a really good player. He's an unbelievable kid. I think he's dealt with this experience the right way. In my conversations with him, we're expecting a really good exit meeting with him, and expecting a big summer out of him. And we need Dante to come back and be a big time player for us in the fall.